How about now, guys? I have no idea why. Actually, I do know because yesterday I used my alternate microphone here and I'm not using that today. All right, let's start over, guys. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and start this back over. All right, going back to the beginning here. Low risk today, level 1 out of 5, the lowest risk you can have. South central Wisconsin, West Michigan, Northwest Indiana, North central Illinois. Large hail is your primary concern with any of these storms, followed by damaging winds. Those are the exact same risk levels and areas here we just mentioned there: South central Wisconsin, West Michigan, Northwest Indiana, North central Illinois. The only area of concern here for a potential tornado is going to be in Illinois by the border of Wisconsin, the general area there of Rockford, Aurora, Peoria, Quincy, those general areas, perhaps Madison, Wisconsin there as well. Not overly concerned about the tornado threat today, but it is a possibility we're going to mention here. Looking at the models, though, looking at the 3 p.m., 4 p.m. ish local time frame here, where any of these cells pop up, this is at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Those are going to be the ones to watch there for a potential tornado, although, again, that threat's not very high. Those are going to push and develop eastward across the Illinois area. And we're going to have additional development on the south side here, all the way back down here towards St. Louis, but also up into West Michigan here at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. here. We're going to see additional development here, tries to go up in Northwest Indiana. So this area of concern today is very well placed here by the SPC. I do think that marginal risk is in a perfect spot there. Overall, the environment today is not overly concerning, so it's just going to be a small mention of a large hail potential. Mainly, could see some damaging winds with any like downburst, microburst type of stuff. Tornadic risk is quite low. We're not going to really be overly concerned about that, but we're going to mention it just because SPC does have that 2% risk out there in Illinois. So 4 p.m. is the earliest in the west part of the region. So Illinois, South Wisconsin, those areas. Moving eastward into Northwest Indiana, Southwest Michigan, looking more so after 8, 9 p.m., probably closer to the midnight time frame. And those storms are going to weaken, but they're not going to die. Okay. So as you zoom out here and take a look through the overnight period, these are going to continue eastward and develop across Michigan, northern Indiana, and even parts of Indiana, all of Indiana here, and also Illinois through the overnight period. Those could be rumbles of thunder, heavy rain at times. No severe is expected further south there. Just going to be tied to the early afternoon, early evening areas further north. If you guys live toward the Ohio River Valley, but do be mindful that we could see a rumble of thunder there overnight tonight, and also parts of West Ohio potentially as well. So, not a very high threat today, but it is a threat we're going to mention there. The main concern and main focus is going to be tied to still next week. Yeah, no Vincent's fun for tonight, Jeannie, but we could be looking at some fun for next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, still keying in on those risks for a large portion of our region. Again, not going to get too specific here in terms of what we're expecting, general area, stuff like that, or exact areas, should I say. Only general areas we're going to be able to highlight there. There does seem to be a risk here within the area and also for Wednesday as well, but higher risk there potentially showing up for parts of Indiana, Ohio there. Jumping into some models here, the GFS in particular, and looking at the overlap of instability and wind shear, looking at a few different areas of concern here. We're only out to Tuesday at this point, but this is what it has for Tuesday here. Mainly looking at central and southern Illinois, Ohio, and Indiana here. Maybe stretching far up into Wisconsin and Michigan, but right now that threat for now looks to sustain itself further south here. Looking at multiple model runs here, looking at a general consensus of ensembles, we call them. Go ahead and overlap the probability of where all members are combining. Here is Tuesday, okay? So here we see the highest risk is going to be here off toward the Ohio River Valley here. So Vincent's, for example, is showing up here as a highest risk, not a high risk, but the highest probability, should I say. So like areas like Cincinnati, Bloomington, Evansville, those general areas here, but do not want to ignore up here across northern parts of Ohio, even southern Michigan here, in a 60 to 70% probability of the supercell composite being more than one here. So that area of concern pretty much stretches the entire state of Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois, and perhaps parts of South Wisconsin and parts of South Michigan. All right, this is going to be for Tuesday. Moving into Wednesday, though, we're going to see a similar story here. The highest risk or probability, should I say, does look to be off to our south here again for the Ohio River Valley, but it does extend further north as a lower probability, even for portions of northern Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and perhaps again parts of Michigan and Wisconsin there. So it looks to center itself further to the south for the most highest probability or concern right now. That could still shift. We're still multiple days away from this. It just bears watching this time. But do keep in mind that right now the risk is shifted further to the south toward the Ohio River Valley itself. So, with that being said, overall hazards and concerns are not going to be, too big of a focus until we get closer. But right now, it looks more so maybe like a damaging wind, large hail, over like an outbreak of tornadoes. I don't think we're going to see that at this point in time. But again, we still have multiple days to get to that, to get to this point, so we could have some changes here. We'll be monitoring and we'll be keeping track of this so you guys will be updated as we are updated. So with that being said, I don't want to lose focus of today's severe risk. It's a low end risk, but again, some of these days can surprise sometimes. So we're on our toes. We're watching the radar here. We'll have updates on the page for you guys, especially across northern Illinois where potential does exist. A low potential does exist for a tornado or two possible. Overall, not a overly large concern today for severe. So any questions, guys? Any rain? Yes, tonight. Tonight will be rainy for you guys down there in Vincent's. Actually, I wanted that. Actually, I don't want that. I'm on the wrong model. Oh boy, I must be tired this morning, guys. Muting myself. Got a bunch of stuff going wrong. Here we go. So rain starts roughly probably late tonight, after midnight for you guys down there, and then it's going to continue all night long into the morning hours on Friday, and then additional development here in Ohio and Southeast Michigan possible on Friday before moving out. And then Saturday, not concerned about that for right now. How does Northeast Ohio look for severe weather Tuesday and Wednesday? Right now, I guess I would say you're in a low probability or a lower probability than areas further to your west and south, but it does warrant concern. So I'd say watch it, but don't get freaked out or concerned. Just be mindful of potential for Northeast Ohio there. I'm thinking more of a line, Christian. Looking at the overall dynamics, I think it's going to be more so maybe a wind dominant threat, maybe a large hail threat as well. I don't think we're going to be dealing, too big of a risk for tornadoes. That could change. It likely will change between what hazards we're going to be looking at most. But right now, not seeing, discrete cells or a huge outbreak, nothing like that. There is no reason to be freaked out, Christy. No reason right now. We're still multiple days away from this, and we'll be keeping track of it here. We'll keep you safe. Any other questions, guys? Please tag me if it gets bad. Storms come and comes early. I can try to. I can try to. It's hard to, between all 6 accounts that we run, we have like 150 or so thousand followers. So it's kind of hard to keep up with, certain things. But if I see a storm heading your way, I'll try to tag you, but no promises. Yeah, Christian, I saw that. And I mean, we're still days away. So, of course, things can change. But looking at models and what they've been trending, I don't see this being an outbreak like we've seen in the plains. It's actually very rare we get, multiple days or more so concerns of outbreaks of tornadoes. March 14th this year was an exception in Ohio. Um, but, that doesn't happen very often. All right. I don't see any other questions popping in here, so I'm going to hop off here. So again, main timing today for severe weather, if it's going to happen, it's going to be after 4 p.m. in Illinois. Those storms in the early afternoon, late afternoon, early evening time frame would have the potential for a tornado or two across Illinois and parts of South Wisconsin. Overall, these storms will weaken as they push east northeastward into Michigan, parts of northwest Indiana. But the entire basically region tonight has a chance of a thunderstorm. The only severe risk right now is going to be for northern Illinois, South Wisconsin, West Michigan, and then parts of northwest Indiana. So, main time frame for that 4 p.m. if you're in Illinois, probably closer to 9, maybe closer to midnight if you're in Michigan and parts of northern Indiana there. So, with that being said, we'll have updates if need be. New SPC comes out at 12:30, so 15 minutes. We'll have an update. But that's all I got to share with you guys. We'll have updates regarding next week's severe threat, probably daily leading up to it. So stay tuned to that. We'll keep you guys updated. You guys have a great day. Enjoy some beautiful weather. And if you're in a severe risk later on today, eyes to the radar and sky and heed all warnings that are issued by your local NWS offices.